Hi, my name is Tom. I'm going to explain about my reading lesson, the one that I did a few weeks ago for storytelling. So the breakdown of my story lesson is that um, in the beginning of my story lesson, I have a brainstorm idea first to introduce the topic. So, for example, this is one of my activities. It's a pick the square colors. I get the students to choose a color and then ask them like the numbers. And each of these pictures, they just reveal something like an image of the background, and then it just gives them an idea like what our story is about. And eventually they'll say, "Oh, teacher, it's a classroom." And then we introduce the story. Like, I'll say, "What's in my classroom?" And for this character, I gave her a name. Her name is Apple. And I have a little hello. My name is Apple. Uh, and in every story unit, I also introduce a song that relates to the story. It's just a way for students to be familiar, like what our story will be about. So this is one of the stories I play. Well, that's not story, but the song I play. It's called "What Do You What Do You Have?" And we play the song and we sing the song just to familiarize the vocabulary in the story. And then we get into a brainstorm activity. This brainstorm activity, I get them to work in pairs, and I model my TA, and we try to think about like, oh, what can they see in the classroom? And they pretend they have binoculars. They look in the classroom. They say, oh, I can see a clock. I can see a desk. And so this activity is just to get them to brainstorm and to talk to each other. And then I give them about 2 minutes, but I realized it was too long during the lesson period. So I thought next time I should have done at least 1 minute, just to give them just to talk to each other. 2 minutes felt too long, and they just get distracted. So after the brainstorm activity, I have this other engaging activity. It's just to like engage the students to explain that like what else do we need in the classroom, and it's just to review back the vocab that they learned from unit 1. And so I would say like, oh, what do we need? So for example, there'd be a pencil, an eraser, and a crayon. So it's just to stimulate more background knowledge. And then we get into the actual reading. And then this would be the part where I actually start reading the story. And as I progress, I would read, oh, it's on the wall. It's a circle. What is it? And in my video lesson, I've asked them, it's a clock. And I asked them, what else is a circle in the classroom? Can you show teacher? And this would be repeated. We keep reading the story. I would ask them, what is yellow in our classroom? A pencil. Great. So what else is yellow? So after reading the story once, I would have a follow-up activity just to review vocab. So we would have 6 pictures and 4 words. I've added 6 pictures because I thought it might be too easy, and it's better to have something extra challenge for the students. So that's why I have 6 here. And then this activity is supposed to show time progression. Like what did they see first in the story? What did they see next? So it's all about this girl Apple. And I think I should have made clues for the sequence. So say, from my first slide, what did Apple see first in the classroom? It's round on the wall. And I should have repeated the same steps for number 2, number 3, number 4. and I realized that only half of them understand um, what it means by what the girl saw first in the classroom. But in general, about half of them got it correct in the right sequence. And then this is the activity follow-up. This is called 1, 2, 3 check. What this basically is just questions from the story. So, for example, they would raise, for example, this question asks is, which one is not for the classroom? And what I should have done is also label in the slide 1, 2, and 3. So 1 for the turtle, 2 for the clock, and 3 for the pencil. But overall, they understood what I was asking them. And then I would say, yeah, they would say, yeah, it is the turtle. And then if I have follow-up questions, why doesn't the turtle belong in the classroom? And something to connect to real life, like what pet would you like for the class? And so we still keep doing the same activity for a couple more minutes. Questions relating to the story, and I had follow-up questions. And this is one that says, which one belongs in our classroom? We have a fish, a pizza, and a clock. I shouldn't have done fish because in the background of this classroom there's a fish tank, which they could say, yes, the fish could be in the classroom. And then my last activity, this is it's a little mini game just to review also vocabs. And basically what this activity is these would be cut out and folded up, and then 2 students would play this activity. So one student would read, would take turns reading it. So they would take the paper, they read it, they would say, it's small, it's yellow. And their friends try to guess, like, what is the word? And I put the sentence for them to read, and then the answer on top. I had pictures. And overall, I thought this activity was it was great, it was simple, and I was surprised that they all got it. I think next time for higher classes, I probably have more pictures. But in both classes, it worked out very well. Like, the amount of cards for this activity was really well done. And that's it. That's the end of my lesson. But overall, I think reading is that we need to have like a brainstorm idea, to play music to connect to the story, read the story to them, connect with them to things that are relatable to them, have questions to wrap up, have games, and have something for them to interact with each other. And yeah, that's it.